Are you trying to organize and find files on your Mac OS device? Then this is the video for you because I am going to show you how to find files using your Finder. If you're coming from the Windows world, Finder is the equivalent of File Explorer on Windows. In Finder, you can organize all your files by folders. You can tag them, which will make finding your files even faster. You can remove programs from your Mac OS device. You can install programs. It's kind of the overall control of all the files and programs on your Mac OS device. So let's jump in so I can show you how to find files using Finder. The first feature I want to show is your Finder preferences. There are a few more settings in there that you can adjust that affect some things other than Finder. So I just want to take a moment and just go through those couple of settings just to show you those different features. Your Finder preferences are found in your top left-hand corner, not the Apple logo icon, but right next to it. And right now you're going to see it actually says Ecamm Live. So in order to see that Finder preferences, what you need to do is just go anywhere on your desktop, anywhere there's not an icon or a file or anything, just anywhere in your wallpaper and just click. And you're going to see now it changes over and you see the word Finder. So you want to go up to Finder and you want to click on it. And you want to go down to Preferences. Now you're going to see a few settings in here. The first one is hard disks. So any hard drives that are in your computer, you can either have them show on your desktop by default or not. So you'll see when I tick the hard disk box, over on the right hand side you'll see the Macintosh HD appeared. When I untick it, it goes away. Completely a personal preference if you want it there. I used to use it all the time, but now that I use OneDrive as my main files, I actually just made a shortcut to that so that I could get right to that folder quickly. You can have external disks, so you'll see over on the right hand side I've got that backup drive. That's a USB drive I have plugged in. If you have a little thumbstick, plug it in, it will show up on that sidebar. So I'd probably suggest having that show. CDs, DVDs, and iPods, so basically any external media player you connect in, it will show an icon on your sidebar. So if you want to play a DVD, for example, you'll see a little disc icon show up on your sidebar. If you happen to connect to any servers, you can tick the box so those servers will show up. When you go down to your dock and click on the Finder icon, you can tell it what you want it to show you when it does open. So you've got some choices here. You can have it show the very root of your computer. You can have it show that next level up, or you can have it show your user folder, your desktop folder, your documents, your iCloud Drive recents, or you can tell it what you want it to open. So if there's a specific folder, you could have it open that by default. You can also tell it to open folders and new tabs instead of new windows. Across the top, you're going to see a couple of icons. Right now we're on the general, but now we want to click on tags. On Mac OS, you can tag any folder, any file, and you can make categories of those tags. So they have some default ones out of the start here. They have red, green, blue, and purple. And you can assign any item those colors. You can also make additional tags. So for example, you'll see down a little lower, there's a work one, there's a home, there's an important, there's an online only, and you can tag any file or folder with that. And when you go in Finder, you'll see a list of all your tags. So if you just want to view your work files, you can click on that tag just to view those files. I'll be showing that feature in just a few. In here, you can click the plus or minus button to either add tags or take them away. So let's say I don't want this online only one. I click on it, and now I'll click the minus button. It's asking if I want to delete the tag, and I'm going to say delete tag, and it's gone. If I want to add a new tag, I click on the plus button. And let's say I want to add a music tag. Type in the title you want and hit music. If you still want the tag but you don't want to use it for the moment, you'll see these boxes on the right hand side. You can just select the box to remove it or add it back in. Basically hiding the tag if you uncheck it instead of deleting it. The next option is sidebar. When you open up your Finder on the left hand side, you'll see all your navigation area. And you can control what shows in that navigation area. So right now I've got my recents, my AirDrop, my applications, my downloads, my root folder, but you could have your pictures, your music, movies, things on your Mac. You can go through this whole list and have it show anything you want in that sidebar. And then under Advanced, you can have it show file name extensions. So let's say, for example, you have a Word document. By default on Mac, let's say I have the name of a file and it's called test file. And I created it in Microsoft Word. Without that box ticked, it'll just say test file, and it'll show a little Microsoft Word icon so that you know it was created in Word. But if you tap on show all file name extensions in the list, you'll actually see it says testfile.doc. Or if you created it as a PDF file, you'll see testfile.pdf. You'll actually see that extension name. Up to you if you want to see that or not. The computer can give you a warning before changing the name of an extension. So let's say you're changing a JPEG file to a PNG and you want to just change it by renaming it. It'll just warn you before you do that. It'll show you a warning if you remove anything from your iCloud drive. It'll give you a warning before emptying your trash just to make sure you want to empty it. You can select it so your trash automatically empties every 30 days. You can have it keep folders on top when you're in Windows sorting by name or on desktop. And then when performing a search, you can have it choose this Mac, search the current folder you're in, or use the previous search. So all these are just preferences you can set to help customize how things act and behave even further. So when you're all set changing things in there, you can X out of that. There are a couple ways to get to your Finder. If you put the Macintosh HD on your desktop, you can go to it that way. Or if you come down along your bottom to the dock or wherever you have your dock located, you'll see the little smiley face. It's always on the bottom left. And if you hover over it, it'll actually say Finder. So you want to click on that to open it up. Now you're going to see this navigation on the left, like I was talking about, where you could customize everything that's there. Let me make this window a little bigger so you can see a little more complete. There we go. So you'll see I've got my Dropbox I added, my OneDrive, my Macintosh HD, Downloads folder, my AirDrop, and all those different features. I've got all my iCloud stuff. I've got my locations, which is if you have any network drives connected or any USB drives like my backup drive, you'll see there's a little eject button if I want to eject the drive. And then you've got all your tags. And then on the right hand side is where you'll see actually all your files, your folders, kind of all the structure. What I'm going to do is I'm going to click on my Downloads folder. So I have a couple files here just to kind of see how things look. Now, across the top, you're going to see some different things. You're going to see two navigation arrows. You're going to see a back and a forward. All it does is going to move you backwards one step at a time where you last were, or forwards one step at a time. Think of it as your browser where you can go forwards or backwards in your history. Same idea. The title just tells you where you are. The next navigation icons is, the first one here is how things look. So if I click, right now I'm in what's called the list. So it just shows all my files right in a straight list going down. The next one I can select is show as icons. And you'll see it switched over and had them all take the form of an icon. The next one you can do is show them in columns. What this one does is it's kind of a combination of a list, yet it does a little bit more. So I've got the list of all the files and folders I have, but let's say I have a folder like this BCC folder. If I click on that, it's going to open another column that has all the files and folders within that folder, and I can keep going across. The last view option is gallery. This is not one I use very often, but it is here. This is great if you're browsing a folder with a bunch of photos in it. You'll see a list of all the files across the bottom, and I can just click to go across. And it shows you kind of a quick screenshot of what you're looking at. And then on the right-hand side, it'll give you some file information about that file, when it was created, its size, when it was last opened, and if any tags are assigned to it. It's really handy for photos because you can use your arrow keys. I'm just using my right arrow key to go through it or my left arrow key to go through it. But I find for files, it's just a little clunky. But again, this all comes down to personal preference. For me, I tend to either use the list or I use the icons. Sometimes I have the icon showing, sometimes I have the list. That's the view options that you have. The next one is the order. Right now, there is no order in which these files or folders appear. If I click on this little down arrow, and you'll see right now it says none. I can choose to organize them by name, by kind, by application, by date last opened, date added, modified, created, size, and tags. A lot of times I like to do is date added. And what it'll do is it'll put the most recent file right at the top. And that's how I personally really like to view things. I either jump between the name so I can have alphabetical order, or in my downloads folder, for me, I like to have the most recent at the top. But again, you can customize each section to be the way you want. So just because I have my downloads this way, if I go into my documents folder, it's by name. And you'll see you've got the A's at the top, the C, the D, the IF, and it just goes right in order. So you can customize how each folder shows, and not every folder has to show the same exact way, which is really handy. The next option is just some different features. So you can open a new folder. You can open tabs within here. So if I click on tab, you'll see now I've got 2 downloads tabs. Let's say I want to go into that BCC folder. So now I can jump back and forth between the folders. Kind of like you have tabs in your browser, you can have tabs in your Finder. So I'm going to close out that BCC tab. Shows how you can group things by, same idea. It's kind of using the same features as some of these other icons. You can also import from your iPhone or iPad if you have one. So my iPhone is Obi-Wan Kenobi, and I can tell it to take a photo or scan a document or add a sketch, and it'll pop up on my iPhone asking me to do something, or my iPad, it'll do the same thing. So it's a really quick way to get a folder or file over here. Now you're going to see a couple of these other 2 options that are grayed out. What I can do is when I click on a folder or a file, you're going to see those 2 options appear where they'll kind of turn a little brighter in color. So the first one is the share icon. If you're used to iOS, you see that all the time on iOS. So if I click on that, it's going to allow me to quickly mail that, send it to a text message. I can AirDrop it. I can add it to my notes, add it to photos, add it to reminders, or if you have some other programs that you want to add in on your computer, you can send it or use it within those apps by using that. The next one is this looks like a little gift tag. So in here, I can either assign a tag to that file or I can create a new one. So let's say I want those phone numbers to be to the music tag. And you can assign multiple tags. Let's say I want that screenshot to be a blue tag. Let's say I want Air Server to be a purple tag. Now what you're going to see is if I come over to the left-hand side here under tags, if I click on music, it's going to show that phone numbers file. So anything I've tagged to music will show under there. For example, under red, I have our school inventory and my school budget showing up. Green doesn't have anything assigned to it. Blue, I assigned the tech budget and I did that screenshot. Purple, I assigned that Air Server. It's a great way if you want to organize files to quickly find a certain category of files. It's really nice if you're working on a project. You could create a tag of the name of the project you're working on, and then you can tag all the files related to that project by whatever the tag is, and then you can just go to the tag to view all the files. Great and easy way to find files quickly. And the other thing you'll also see is now there's the little icon colors next to them. You'll notice next to music, the color of the tag is black. So if I want to change the color, I can. And now if I go back to downloads, you'll see now there's a little green icon back to that. The other thing you can do, and if you noticed, I quickly changed the color of that tag. How did I do that? If you have a mouse, you can right click on anything. Or if you have a trackpad, you can take 2 fingers on the trackpad at the same time and click. And you'll get this little options menu to show up. And that'll happen on any folder and any file. The other way you can get to that is if you hold down the control button on your computer and then just single click on the item, you'll also see that menu show up. And that can be on anything, an individual file, a folder, anything. You can do control click to get to it. You can right click on a mouse or take 2 fingers at the same time on a trackpad. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to take 2 fingers and I'm going to click on this phone numbers file. And you'll see from here I can open it. I can tell it to open with a program. I can show it in an enclosing folder. I can move it to the trash. I can get the information on the file. I can rename it. I can compress it into a zip file. I can duplicate it, make an alias. I can get a quick look at it, copy it, share it, add a tag. You can send it to those programs or do quick actions with those programs. If it's an image, you can set it as your desktop picture. So lots of things you can do with that right click or the 2-finger click or the control click. Next thing I'm going to show is how to install a program. Let's say you've gone out online and you download a program that you want to install on your computer. All you have to do is just go into your downloads folder if that's where you have things downloading, which 99% of the time on Mac, that's where it's going. And all you have to do is just double click on it. And then from here, you're just going to follow the steps. So a lot of times you have to agree. It'll probably ask you to enter in your password at some point. It'll ask you where you want to save it and all those things. Once you go through all those steps, it'll be installed on your computer. Now, once you have your programs installed, where are they? you'll see on this left-hand side, you'll see this applications folder. If you click on that, it'll take you to a folder that has all your programs that are installed on your Mac. So I'm going to use the tile view here. And you'll see here's all the programs I have installed on my Mac. And from here you can open them up. If you want it to appear down in your dock, you can just click and drag it down to your dock and it'll appear down in your dock. And you can also uninstall apps from here. So how do you remove an app from your computer? Some apps actually come with an uninstaller. When you download it and open it up, you'll sometimes see a little uninstaller. Most programs, I'd say probably 99% of the time on a Mac computer, all you have to do is come in here and move it to the trash. So let me find a program. Let's say Google Chrome. Let's say I don't want Chrome anymore. All I need to do is take 2 fingers and click on it, or I can do control click with my keyboard, or I can right click with a mouse. I'm going to do move to trash. When I empty my trash, that program is gone. That's it. If the program, as I said, has an uninstaller, you'll want to run the uninstaller. But 9 times out of 10, all you have to do is move it to your trash, empty your trash, and that program's gone. Now let's say you accidentally put something in your trash and you don't want it there. So I'm going to open my trash back up. And let's say I want Chrome back. I'm going to click on it. I'm going to do a 2-finger click, control click, or a right click. And you're going to see put back. If I do that, you'll see Google Chrome ends up right back in my applications folder and I'm good to go. So that is how you add or remove a program on your Mac. The last piece I want to show is called AirDrop. This is one of my favorite Mac OS, not even Mac OS, Mac OS and iOS, actually just Apple feature in general. So AirDrop, what it will do is you've got a few options in here. The first thing is your Bluetooth has to be on for it to work. So if it's not, you'll need to turn your Bluetooth on. And then when you go into AirDrop, you're going to see the setting down below. You're going to see allow me to be discovered by, and if I click on that, it'll choose no one where it's turned off, contacts only. So that's anybody in your contacts book, or everyone. Now, I'm going to warn you about everyone. I had everyone enabled on my phone. I went to a movie theater, and when everyone's enabled, that means anybody with an iOS device can send you a file wirelessly. You still have to accept it, so they can't force you to get a file, but it's going to pop up on your phone saying, so-and-so wants to send you this image or this file. I got so many requests of really inappropriate photos and things I just didn't want to see that I changed that right away to be contacts only. So my suggestion is contacts only. If you're really in a tight environment, go ahead and leave it open to everyone, especially if you work in a school or something like that and it's your laptop. I'd strongly suggest just doing everyone. And then what you'll see is as you have enabled it on both ends, so my iPhone has it enabled for contacts and my laptop has it enabled for contacts, I can see my iPhone. And let's say I want to send a file to my iPhone. All I have to do is go find a file. So let's say I want to send the February lunch menu. All I do is click and drag it over the phone. You're seeing it saying wait. And what it's going to do on my phone is it's going to ask me what to open it with. So I'm going to say files on my phone. And now my phone has that file. That's all you need to do. And the great thing is, if there are 2 Macs, you'll see that other MacBook in the list. And you can wirelessly send files to that other MacBook and back and forth. It's a really quick way. One of my favorite features on Mac and iOS devices. I hope this video helped you out in being able to better organize your macOS device by creating folders, organizing things, applying tags to files and folders, and just the basic organization of your macOS device, along with how to install and uninstall programs. Please, if you found this video helpful, take a second down there and hit that like button. And also while you're down there, if you have any questions or you weren't sure of anything, please leave a comment below. I am more than happy to take comments and I will always respond to those comments. And also, so you can stay up to date with all my latest video tutorials, hit that subscribe button while you're down there so you can stay up to date with all my latest video tutorials. Otherwise, this is Adam on Tech, signing off.